These are pictures we know will bring utter joy to so many of you. Little Nev, one moment playfully zooming about in his field, moments later turning to his mother Nia for comfort and a feed. These are just the kind of behaviours you hope to see in a young colt and his new mother or dam. Looking at Nev here, he seems to not have a care in the world. But little Nev's start in life has been bumpy, to say the least, and there were times we at the Mare and Foal Sanctuary were genuinely concerned he may not even survive. So right now, little Nev is about a month old, and so finally, we at the Mare and Foal Sanctuary feel we can sort of breathe a collective sigh of relief, seeing him looking so healthy and so well. But it cannot be underestimated just how anxious our staff have been at times as to how well he's doing, how he's been bonding with his mother this past month, and the amount of work our staff have put in to get him to this clean bill of health. So how did little Nev come to be born here at the Mare and Foal Sanctuary? Well, it was in November 2023. His mother Nia, a Welsh moorland mare, arrived at the sanctuary. It was unknown to us at that time that she was pregnant. Arriving with her filly foal at foot, Nettie, Nia and Nettie had been part of a herd of 69 semi-feral Welsh moorlands taken from Merthyr Common. Harsh living conditions, fighting and unmonitored breeding had caused serious welfare concerns for Nia and her herd. Our charity gave Nia and Nettie the medical care and love they needed, and on learning Nia was again in foal, staff at our Beech Trees Veterinary and Welfare Assessment Centre gave Nia the specialist care she needed.
We are called the Mare and Foal Sanctuary, but it's not common for us to have lots and lots of foals on site. If we have foals born here, it's because their dams were already in foal when they arrived with us. We have a really strict non-breeding policy. There's lots of horses and ponies in sanctuaries like this, like ours, looking for homes, and we don't want to add to their numbers. So we would encourage only really responsible breeding.
By taking into account when Nia's foal Nettie was born and when Nia could have last been with a stallion before her arrival, we predicted a late summer, early autumn birth. And so it was, we monitored Nia closely, looking for the signs you expect to see in a mare when she's close to foaling. Among the things we look for are udders becoming enlarged, changes in croup muscles, signs of restlessness. But Nia showed little of this, and so it was a surprise to say the least for sanctuary night staff when they arrived at work on the evening of August 29th to find this. Little Nev, born at least 2 weeks earlier than predicted.
I think we all expected it was going to be September. We're close to September, but yeah, none of us expected that last night people on night check would turn up and there would be a baby. I was very excited, but also just wanting to make sure that they were both happy and healthy.
Being outside is the most natural environment for ponies to birth, and so it was thanks to our CCTV we managed to capture it all on film. In this footage you can see as Nia lies on the ground, preparing to give birth. Her field companion Chandrani alongside, watching on. We see the moments shortly after his birth where little Nev wobbles to his feet, and after a bit of practice at standing, he runs off to explore his new surroundings. Whilst we were all delighted that little Nev, despite being born early, had seemingly birthed with few complications, a few hours later, our concerns turned to the difficulties he was having latching on and feeding from Nia.
Unfortunately, when he was first born, his mother didn't get up straight away to nurse him, so we have had quite a long journey. He struggled to feed from her, so he hasn't quite latched on properly and suckled. So we've had to monitor him 24 hours a day, so that's quite intense for the team here. So it's involved watching the CCTV footage and coming out and helping him feed and assisting where necessary there.
Our dedicated specialist staff were desperate to ensure they gave Nia and little Nev every opportunity to bond with as little intervention from people as possible.
When we have to have an orphan foal, unfortunately, we're normally pushed into that decision. We find them on the moors, etc., without a mother, or the mother's unable to actually feed them. So it really does show later in life, because they've not had the guidance, the natural guidance from the mother growing up, whereas they've had a lot of human interaction. So they'll see us and they'll naturally think feed, whereas that's not really the lines we want to be going down.
Only limited numbers of staff were initially allowed near Nia and her foal. As you can see, each staff member wearing coverall suits to limit the chance of spreading disease or illness. And with concerns as to just how much milk he was getting from Nia, staff supplemented Little Nev's feeds. Staff were on site monitoring Little Nev through the day and through the night, either from the field or, thanks to our on-site cameras, we could also check in on them via CCTV.
So we're really lucky we've got a camera up at the field so that we can monitor Nia and her foal 24/7. So we've got access on the iPad here. We can also get on with our mobile phones as well, so wherever we are we can access. That's really important, because it means we don't actually have to go up there and disturb what they're naturally doing. So we're not putting off her natural behaviour or what he's doing. So if he's having a sleep or if he's suckling, so if he's having milk, we're not going to go up there and disturb them. So we can check in on them, we can monitor them for any length of time that we want.
And that dedication paid off. Just 12 days after his birth, and this was our reward. A sturdier, happier, healthier looking foal was emerging, playfully doing zoomies around the field. Just the kinds of behaviours you hope to see in a foal at this stage.
He is a completely different little foal to what he was last week. Our team have been working really hard around the clock, 24 hours, having people here on hand to support the process and that mare-foal bonding process, which we were struggling with somewhat. But it looks like all our efforts are really paying off. He's really lively now. He is feeding. Nia, his mum, still doesn't have loads of milk, but she seems to have enough to manage, and so he's having lots of little feeds throughout the day. And as we can see by him running around, he seems to be coping really well with it.
I mean, the joy in him running around, but also the joy in you and Saskia just now watching him. How does it make you feel?
Oh, he's just gorgeous, isn't he? And he's had us all a bit worried for the last 12 days, I suppose. We've all, kind of been hoping that we can get him through the difficult part. But it seems like we're really, hopefully, over the hill now. Mum and foal are getting on much better, which is great. We've had lots of assistance from our vet team as well, which has been amazing. And we've had to do a little bit of input ourselves of giving Mum lots of really, really nice scratches whilst he feeds, so that she has something that she really likes whilst he's feeding. And I think she's found that a little bit uncomfortable. It can be really easy to accidentally reinforce behaviours that you don't then want to develop later in life in the foal. We don't want to become too full on around people, and kind of seeing people as a food source and things like that can lead to behaviour problems later in life. So we've been very mindful of that, and it is very much walking a tightrope of we've had to intervene a little bit to help support Mum and to help support the foal to get the feeds that he needs. But also we've had to try to keep ourselves out of the situation as much as we possibly can. So it is that constant balancing act. Obviously, up to this point, his survival has been the most important thing. Now we can switch more into allowing them to work on that mare-foal bond themselves a little bit.
And do spare a thought for Little Nev's mum, Nia, particularly when you consider the trauma Nia had experienced before coming to the Mare and Foal Sanctuary.
She's amazing. I just adore her. She is such a nice-natured pony. Considering she came to us, I think it's just over a year ago now, completely unhandled and very, very nervous of human contact, and with a previous foal at foot at that point as well. She's had a lot to cope with in the last year of moving to a new place, very, very gradual weaning process of her previous foal, and also learning how to be around people, how to be handled. She loves people. She's very relaxed around us, and she's very happy for us to interact with her, and she's not worried about us being near her foal, which obviously is always a concern with a new mum. So yeah, she is just an absolute sweetheart. I adore her.
The work with Little Nev will continue. At 12 days old, the tentative first steps of training him began, introducing him to a head collar. And you can see why I say tentative. As a young, inquisitive colt, this training will take time and a lot of dedication. But just look what difference a few weeks of that dedication from our staff makes. This was Little Nev when we filmed him around 2 weeks later. You can see he seems more relaxed with our equine behaviourist Anna and Chelsea from our Beech Trees veterinary and welfare team, gently encouraging him to allow the head collar to be put on him. Horses are herd animals, and there can sometimes be greater challenges raising a foal with no other foals to play with. So our team work at providing Little Nev with plenty of enrichment whilst trying to not encourage play association with humans. And of course, we can only afford to raise, nurture and care for equines like Little Nev thanks to the generous donations of our supporters.
Now, Little Nev, his sister Nettie and their dam Nia will have sanctuary for life with us at the Mare and Foal Sanctuary, and in the coming years we'll assess their needs to see where they're best suited. Now, that could be within our equine assisted services team, where they help people who come to us to bond with horses, or it could be that they go to live at one of our 4 different sites with other moorland ponies, or they may go to live with one of our amazing sanctuary at home carers.
But for now, Little Nev is surrounded by the love of his mother Nia, her field companion Chandrani, the love of all the staff at the Mare and Foal Sanctuary, and of course the love and support of our supporters. And for that, we could not be more grateful.